We got this from the Post-Millennial, a couple stories. Rudy Giuliani turns himself in. Quote, whether you dislike or you like Donald Trump, they're going to come for you. And we got this. Look at what they're doing. People magazine. This is Donald Trump and his allies are taking their Georgia mugshots. See the booking photos. So Donald Trump, nothing yet. You got Rudy Giuliani here. You got John Eastman. These are lawyers for Trump, mind you. Yeah. Mark Randall Meadows. What was he? Was he chief of staff, right?
Chief of staff, yeah.
Chief of staff for the president. Kenneth John Chesebrough. Jeffrey Clark has not turned himself in, I believe. Here's Jenna Ellis taking her mugshot. Ray Stalling Smith III. He does not look happy. Robert Cheeley. Okay, so I was way off. I thought it was only a few who didn't, but a lot haven't so far. David James Schaefer. I think this is a GOP Republican Party guy. What is it? What's his role? Former Georgia State Senator and chairman of the Georgia Republican Party. And I think, what was he accused of? He organized with an alternate slate of electors that in the event of a legal dispute victory, they would then have those electors take action. And for that, he is being criminally charged. He looks actually amused by what's going on. Okay, there's actually very few people. Here's Sidney Powell.
The Kraken.
The Kraken. And here's Kathleen Latham. Scott Hall. Misty Hampton is not there. Scott Hall, not the wrestler. Not the wrestler. A bail bondsman, actually. But first, I just want to say, they're coming for lawyers.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure people understand that we cannot let this be a frog boiling in a pot moment. They are arresting Trump's legal counsel. Why? They want to make sure that no lawyer will represent anyone in the Trump sphere. Trump will not be able to sue a ham sandwich, as the saying goes.
And the Trump sphere is going to expand, too.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's Donald Trump and the people, blah, 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 whatever. It's going to be someone else. Like there's likely going to be a split in the Republican Party. That's, I don't know what's going to happen in the Republican Party, and I don't want to try to guess. But like, there's going to be the MAGA party, the party that, or the part of the Republican Party that does not like the establishment, and there's going to be people that like friggin' Bill Kristol and those kind of guys, and you know the Donald Trump party, the MAGA party, they're never going to be accepted. And I really think at this point, there's going to be persecution of people. There's already people that are in jail, have been since January 6th for going there and you know, basically being a supporter of Donald Trump and breaking.
And we're not talking about
trespassing
rioters.
laws. Yeah, exactly.
We're talking about people who didn't break trespassing laws. I've dealt with this. And the police say, unfortunately, if there's no warning sign, they didn't break the law. So what do we have? We have 3 no trespassing signs and a physical barrier. So here's how it works. And this is Maryland, mind you. Yeah. We're in Maryland, and this is sharing jurisdiction for the most part with much of, D.C. and Maryland are separate, I get, but they border each other. And so there are similarities here. Not that they're the same. But as we were told, when someone entered the property, unless you explicitly tell them they can't be there, they're allowed to be there. Now, the other issue is we had a guy actually walk in the house, and that is burglary. So you can't do that. And what they explained was as soon as someone crosses a physical barrier, it's actually burglary. So I don't think that applies to a government building, which is why some of these people are getting like obstructing a government proceeding or whatever. But for it to be trespassing, there has to be a warning first. And trespassing applies to the broad general property, not standing structures. So we were told if you put up a sign at the front of the driveway that says no trespassing, the moment they step onto your property, they have committed the crime of trespassing. We can actually intervene. If there's no sign, they can walk up and go all the way to the house and knock on the door. They also said, if you put a single piece of string across your driveway and someone steps over it, now they've committed burglary. Nice. That's crossing a barrier to enter. So these people on January 6th, they're going after. This is the first step. The people who in general supported Trump, not the people who are rioting or who are violent. That I get. You arrest people who are violent and riot. Despite the fact that these people are being tortured, they shouldn't be, and many of them at this point should have time served for a riot. But there are people who showed up an hour later, were walking around confused, walked onto the Capitol grounds, they got you. Brandon Strzok didn't even go in the building, and they shook him down. Now we're hearing this is a crazy story with Trump. The feds, I don't know exactly what happened, but one of his staff, technical staff, has flipped and is now testifying against Trump in the classified documents case, dropped the Trump team lawyer, and then brought on a federal public defender, and is now claiming his previous testimony was false. I don't believe it for 1 second. I think they went to him and said, here's how it's going to go down. You're going to claim you lied, or we're going to claim you lied, and then you're going to go to prison for perjury. Pick one. And he was just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And they probably said, here, listen, if you piss us off, we will crush you. If you piss off Donald Trump, what's he going to do about it? Nothing. So who do you think is the safer bet? And this is what I think happened. Now this guy flips, and now he's testifying against Trump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't believe it for 1 second.
I was thinking, this is like, it's a little off topic, but Trump told those people to go fight like hell at the Capitol. This is, I think Bill Mitchell said this. I didn't know that on the Culture War last week.
He didn't say, go fight like hell. He said something like, you have to fight like hell if you're going to save this country.
So if I mean, and I'm not saying that he incited a violent riot, but if I told you to go over someone's house and fight like hell,
he didn't say go to their house. Those are two different quotes you're putting together.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So he said,
in
you guys got to
quote,
fight like hell. You got to fight like hell. Go to the Capitol now.
No,
he didn't say that.
He said something to the effect of, you got to fight like hell if you're going to save this country because we're dealing with all these problems, blah, blah, blah. Then later on in the speech, it says, now we're going to peacefully protest at the Capitol to listen to politicians.
That's all I needed. That's better. If it's totally unrelated. The way Bill framed it was, it sounded like he was saying, you got to go to the Capitol and fight like it. He didn't say that. So,
and I'll tell you this too. I'll take that standard. If you're saying fight like hell is incitement to violence, oh, jeez. Oh, shucks.
So many Democrats.
Yeah, let's go
Elizabeth
and round
Warren.
them all up.
I mean, Hillary Clinton, Elizabeth Warren,
Maxine
Waters. I'm sure the entirety of the squad.
AOC.
I mean,
oh yeah.
You can go down the list because
the list.
It's normal
rhetoric.
Yeah, it's normal rhetoric. It's something that they say. You know, politicians say that all the time. I mean, how many times have you heard it, Rob?
We've got tons,
Yeah.
tons on both sides. I mean, even the classified one, I can't help but notice that it seems like everybody who worked in every branch of government seemingly had, classified plans to attack Iran or whatever in their bathtub, but only one of them is getting prosecuted, and that's Donald Trump. And I think ordinary people just realize that. So, I think since 2015-16, there's been a kind of, really the mid-2010s, across the developed world, there's been a kind of populist uprising. Actually, some of the movements are of the left, some of them are of the right, like Trump, Brexit. And the response of the establishment has been, we're not going to rethink what's wrong with the current economic and political order and see what people want. We're going to use law enforcement. This is the fact that people vote this way is a law enforcement problem to be solved using the sharp end of the criminal justice system. And I think it's really bad. I think actually it's more and more likely to stoke genuine, scary anger and radicalism because people went to vote, and the kind of democratic mechanism has not worked, and the establishment has sought to undo the choices people made. So, like in Britain, the establishment went really hard to try to ensure that Brexit wouldn't actually happen. They even charged some Brexit activist with a criminal crime for failing to check one box on some election form he had to fill out, and they were going to make him pay £20,000.
Wow.
And of course here, it's all blended in my head as one issue. Remember George Papadopoulos and Michael Cohen meeting with his supposed Kremlin handlers, the PP tapes, etc. All of these were efforts by the kind of establishment to criminalize the other side that had won an election, and it's I think it's really
the
really
FBI
unhealthy.
was looking into Trump
could have done
the
it
entire time.
Yeah,
Trump could have done it. Trump won. Hillary Clinton was lying and claiming he was a Russian spy, and he was just like, "Well, I don't want to rock the boat." And so this is what you get.
The DOJ was looking into Donald Trump, his own DOJ, for his entire presidency because of something his political opponent fabricated during the election.
No,
it's incredible
now, hold
that we
on,
accept that. Yeah,
that really is incredible that we accept this.
What if Donald Trump is playing 5D chess, and the real conspiracy is that he's not playing 5D chess? Let's see. There you go. Also, think about this. What if he didn't go after the Democrats with his first term because he knew how would it look? There's a contentious election. Then he immediately starts rounding up and arresting all his opponents. He needs a certain degree of victimhood or martyrdom. He then has all this stuff go down. Like, why is Trump going to surrender and just go for this? And it's like, he wants the mugshot. He wants the political martyrdom.
I think that I mean, at least the stuff that you're saying in the beginning, like about his apprehension about actually prosecuting,
absolutely.
I think that's likely.
I think it's a fact, actually. I think he said it.
Oh, did
that
he?
He couldn't just start going after him because...
I mean, he was already, it was scrutinized like mad.
He should have.
He totally should have.
He needed to get several special prosecutors to start doing a bunch of special investigations, firing people left and right and saying, don't know, don't care.
Yeah, I feel like his executive cognition is not that great relative to some excellent commanders, because like, where was he during the summer of 2020 when the riots kicked off? 3 days later, I'm like, where's the National Guard, dude? Where's the National Guard, Don? Where's the National Guard?
And some speculation
now
was
there's burning fires. Where's the National Guard?
Some speculation was that he allowed it to happen so that he could say, hey, look how bad the left is.
That could be. That would be a horrible tragedy if he did that.
Well,
but
look,
he didn't clamp it out before the fires started. Get the guns out there to prevent the fires.
And then they would show all these videos of soldiers marching through streets and be like, it's happening again.
It was like
your reaction is the target. Like if Donald Trump had actual like militarized police, like National Guard running through the streets, picking up Antifa, when they had the narrative that what they were doing was protesting injustice carried out by police. Are you kidding me? That would have been a nightmare.
But if a military commander is concerned about making decisions based on what people are going to think about him, I'm sorry, that's a failed commander.
He's not just a military commander, and you don't use the military in the United States.
We use the National Guard.
You're not supposed to. You really don't want to use the National Guard unless you have to.
I didn't want to, but we did have to.
He would need to invoke, I think it was the Insurrection Act, because the National Guard is state.
Yeah.
So if Trump wanted to intervene, it's Insurrection Act and Army.
So he didn't do that. He didn't step on the gas with the Clintons, and maybe he's buddies with the Clintons. I mean, I've seen plenty of pictures of him and Epstein. He and Jeff used to hang out. Like,
no, come on,
dude. There's video of them hanging out at a party, laughing at each other, like looking at girls and laughing.
And there's a lot of people who are at parties. Elon Musk is in a picture with Ghislaine Maxwell, and
were they like, laughing and joking and pointing at girls together?
And he was like, she walked up behind me and got in the photo. I don't have anything to do with this.
Jeff and Don were like laughing and
show me the evidence and the client list and put Trump's name on it.
Oh, I didn't say that.
I say lock him up all the same.
Yeah,
you tell me that you saw me was at a party with a guy who's worth $500 million and they're laughing together, and I'm just like, come on, bro.
With Jeffrey Epstein.
Jordan Peterson, yes, with Jeffrey Epstein. Jordan Peterson was at an event, and some kid walked up and said, can I get a picture with you, Dr. Peterson? Said, sure. The kid then unfurled a Keck flag. They got a picture of it, posted it, and then every magazine picked it up and accused Jordan Peterson of being a Nazi because of it.
Are you implying that Donald Trump didn't know who Jeffrey Epstein was?
No, I'm saying to imply that Trump did something wrong for simply having been at the same party as Epstein.
No, he was just buddies with that class of people, with the Clintons and he felt like he was. So is it the deep state that wanted him arrested, or was it the Clintons? Like, what do you think, Sarab?
It's all of them.
Did he like stumble into pissing off the deep state, trying to be buddies with the Clintons through his presidency, and he just pushed them too far, or did he piss off the Clintons and like push them too far?
No, I think his whole agenda challenged the ruling class consensus, right? So he free trade, the various wars in the Middle East, in the post 9/11 wars. He opposed. He lambasted the establishment. He called the wars an utter failure.
He said George W. Bush. He said to Jeb, your brother lied to us.
When you say the establishment, is that more this administrative tyranny thing that you're talking about, or is it actually the politicians like Biden and Hillary, or are they part of it?
But they're part of it for sure. I mean, and there's like lots of business leaders, et cetera. I think the United States. It's fair to say has a uniparty. There's a kind of party that it includes establishment Republicans and lots of Democrats, and they were committed to a certain worldview of unlimited free trade, relatively open borders, et cetera, and Trump came along and he challenged that, and they utterly punished him.
He was threatening the military-industrial complex. I mean, that is the easiest thing to point out. There's a bunch of things Trump did, but you look back, I think, was it Eisenhower who gave us that warning?
Yeah,
Yep, it was.
And then Trump comes in and says, your brother lied to us about these wars. We're going to end these wars. And what did Trump start doing? working towards ending these wars. And then all of a sudden it was just alarm bells. And they were claiming that Trump was working for Vladimir Putin by trying to prevent war because it helped Russia that we weren't at war with them. These people are evil and they're insane. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.